Hello. Fresh concerns have emerged over the safety of schools across Nigeria after reports revealed that no fewer than 603 students and teachers were abducted in 7 major schools attacks between March 2024 and May 2026, despite the federal government's 145 billion naira Safe Schools initiative. The disturbing figure has reignited a national conversation about the protection of children and educators within learning environment, with many stakeholders questioning why schools continue to face deadly threats years after the launch of a program specifically designed to prevent such attacks. Parents, teachers, labor groups, and security experts are increasingly worried that educational institutions have become easy targets for criminal groups, leaving thousands of families uncertain about the safety of their children each time they leave home for school. The Safe Schools initiative was introduced in response to the infamous Chibok schoolgirls abduction of 2014, an incident that shocked Nigeria and the international community. The program was designed to strengthen security around schools through improved infrastructure, surveillance system, community engagement, emergency response mechanism, and closer collaboration between security agencies and educational authorities. Government officials projected an investment of approximately 144.8 billion naira between 2023 and 2026, with plans to cover high-risk schools across multiple states. Expectations were high that the initiative would significantly reduce attacks on schools and restore confidence in public education. Yet, the continuous occurrence of large-scale kidnappings has raised serious concern about the pace and effectiveness of implementation. The figures compiled from reported incidents reveal a troubling pattern of coordinated attacks on educational institutions. On March 7, 2024, armed men invaded LEA Primary and Secondary School in Kuriga, Kaduna State, abducting 137 pupils. The incident generated nationwide outrage and renewed fears that school kidnappings had returned on a massive scale. Barely 2 days later, another group of gunmen attacked a Sangayu school in Sokoto State and abducted 15 students. Those 2 incidents alone accounted for 152 victims within a very short period, sending shockwaves across the country and exposing the vulnerability of schools located in remote communities. The attacks continued into 2025. On November 17 of that year, gunmen invaded a girls' secondary school in Kebbi State and kidnapped 25 students. 4 days later, one of the largest school attacks in recent history occurred at St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State, where 303 students and 12 teachers were abducted. Although authorities later announced that many of the victims had been rescued during security operations, the scale of the attack demonstrated the ability of armed groups to strike educational institutions despite government's effort to improve school safety. The incident intensified calls for a comprehensive review of existing security measures and raised questions about the level of preparedness in schools designated as vulnerable. The trend persisted in 2026 as criminal groups continued to target schools in different parts of the country. In Kogi State, 23 pupils were abducted from Darul Kitab Islamic Orphanage and School in Zarigi, Lokoja. In Borno State, suspected Boko Haram fighters invaded a school in Asikra Uba local government area and abducted 42 students. Just days earlier, armed men had attacked 3 schools in Oriria local government area of Oyo State, abducting 39 students and even teachers. These incidents reinforce fears that schools remain attractive target for kidnappers seeking publicity, ransom payment, or leverage. They also strengthen concerns that educational institutions have not received the level of protection many Nigerians expected after years of policy discussions and funding commitment. Government officials familiar with the Safe Schools initiative have acknowledged that implementation challenges remain significant. According to some officials, one of the major obstacles has been inadequate funding releases despite budgetary allocations. They explain that while resources may be allocated on paper, actual disbursement often falls short, slowing projects intended to improve school securities. Consultations between federal authorities, state government, and other stakeholders are still ongoing as efforts continue to encourage wider participation. Officials insist that the initiative remain important and that efforts are being made to strengthen its impact. Yet, many educational advocates argue that children and teachers cannot continue to wait while attacks persist across the country. The national president of the Parent-Teacher Association, Haruna Danjuma, expressed frustration over what he described as government neglect of public education and school security. According to him, repeated attacks on schools remain a lack of commitment to protecting learners and educators. He lamented that many schools still operate without perimeter fencing, security personnel, surveillance systems, or basic protective infrastructure. Danjuma questioned the effectiveness of education spending in many states, arguing that it is difficult to see evidence that budget allocations are translating into meaningful improvement in school conditions. He warned that continued insecurity could discourage parents from enrolling their children in public schools, creating additional challenges for the education sector. The Nigerian Union of Teachers has also raised alarm over the situation. NUT President Audu Amba stated that schools have increasingly become targets for kidnappers and bandits who view educational institutions as vulnerable locations. He noted that even states that have embraced aspects of Safe Schools initiative have yet to demonstrate substantial improvement in security outcomes. According to him, education cannot thrive in an atmosphere of fear, uncertainty, and violence. He urged federal, state, and local government to work together in ensuring that schools are adequately protected and warned that teachers may be forced to consider stronger actions if the safety of educators and students continue to deteriorate. Labor organizations and civil society groups have joined calls for urgent intervention. Amnesty International argued that bureaucratic obstacles and corruption allegations have slowed implementation of the Safe Schools initiative. The organization noted that many schools in northern Nigeria have faced prolonged closures due to security threats, depriving thousands of children of access to education. The Nigerian Labour Congress also backed recent protests organized by teachers and described the situation as unacceptable. Labour leaders stressed that the continued targeting of schools represents a direct threat to Nigeria's future and called on authorities to move beyond promises and demonstrate visible progress in protecting educational institutions. Some states have attempted to address the problem through local initiatives. Benue State authorities reported that more than 300 schools have been fenced as part of efforts to improve security. Katsina State recently launched a policy focused on safety, security, and violence-free school, emphasizing that the need to create learning environment free from fear and disruption. These efforts have been welcomed by stakeholders who believe they demonstrate the importance of state-level commitment. Even so, many observers argue that isolated intervention is not enough to address a challenge of national proportion. As the number of school adoption continues to rise, Pressure is mounting of government authorities to deliver results that match the promises made under the Safe Schools initiative. Parents, teachers, and students are demanding more than policy announcements and budget figures. They want visible security measures, effective protection systems, and confidence that children can attend school without becoming target of criminal attacks. Until such assurances become reality, concerns over the safety of Nigerian schools are likely to remain at the forefront of national discussions. That's all for now on News Express. And to you, our amazing viewers, kindly like, subscribe, and share this video. My name is Emerald Onufi. Thank you for watching. Do have a beautiful one.